This is, as podcasts go, a website-ass website. This is a proper website for a proper podcast, just like we used to do, and it makes me so proud. Hiya, I'm Mark Steadman, and I think podcast websites are cool. So I'm taking a look at a show that launched in April called A Sense of Rebellion. My friend Caroline told me all about it, and the first thing I did was I Googled it, and I landed on the website, and I thought, right, we've got to have a conversation about this website.
The first thing I think you notice straight away is that this is not a cookie cutter website. You know, no disrespect to any of the website building services there are for podcasts. This ain't one of them. And I love that straight away. We've got this striking imagery. There's so much work that's been put into this art here. And then we can jump straight into the trailer, which is a video trailer, which I love, but it's an audio podcast, and they've done a really good job of giving you a video trailer for what is very much an audio first show. I think I dig that a lot. We've got some context, a little bit of info about the show, and then we've got some images, because this is all archive stuff. This is stuff from half a century ago, and so we've got all these images that we can scroll through and play with, and then there's videos as well, the supporting material, the stuff that we can dive into, and then we've got there's just so much rich stuff here that I absolutely love, and then of course we've got the individual episodes, and it's like I don't know, like flipping through an exhibition. It's like a catalogue. It is so beautiful. We've got this episode transcript here, and what is absolutely wonderful is we've got timestamp links, so I can click the timestamp, and then once the episode is playing, it's just going to jump me through to that bit in the episode as well. Every page has just got this wonderful sort of collage in such a great opinionated art style. Now, if we take a look at this on a mobile, it's been equally well thought out. Everything's sort of really nicely laid out, so they've eschewed the columns and sort of flattened everything down. We've got a menu here that pops out, and we can go through each individual episode. We've got all of our about information, which is, very text heavy. I tend not to love the mono space font for lots of text. I think it's very opinionated, and it's very much the style. But I don't know how comfortable I find reading that all the way through. But to use something. I mean, I reckon they could get away with like a Helvetica, like an original sort of Helvetica. I think actually would work quite well there. I think it would be in keeping with that kind of 60s kind of vibe. I think with the more slightly muted colours, I actually think it would work all right. I love it for headlines and things. I think it works really well. Just as an aesthetic, I think it's just superb. And this is obviously set up as a narrative show. You can tell that. I mean, it is billed like a film, like how we used to build websites for films back in the day. I don't see us doing that very much anymore. But it's kind of got that vibe. It's telling a story, and it's inviting us in. And I think what might be nice, what I would probably have included had I been in on the job, is maybe here, just before we get more information, maybe let's pop an Apple Podcasts and a Spotify button there, because I'm going to be listening to this on my phone. I'm not going to listen on the website, and so I want to be able to very quickly, once I've watched the trailer and once I've got really excited, make it super easy for me to just get it in my ears, because they've done so much work here in terms of giving us extra stuff. And that's one of the considerations for a podcast website. It's not necessarily promotion. It might be for just giving you that extra deep dive information.
I mean, there are buttons up the top here, but they're not as obvious as I was like. And actually, when I was looking at them, I thought they were share buttons. Because I wasn't really paying full attention, to be honest. I thought they were like, Facebook, Twitter, whatever buttons. They're not. They are the Apple Podcasts and whatever. If you are less sophisticated a listener, or you're like me and you're just sort of bombarded with all the color and the interest and all that stuff, you're kind of missing the clear instructions. This is such a clear instruction to visit the website, to play the trailer. It would be great to have an equally, if not more, simple instruction for me to actually hit play and explore the episodes in my app of choice. So looking behind the scenes, then it would appear to be built with something called Next.js, which is a framework upon a framework upon a framework for building websites. So it is very, very much a custom build, a custom job. This is the sort of framework that coders use. It's not like a drag and drop sort of WordPress style builder. It doesn't appear to have an accessible CMS. It all sort of appears to be kind of hand coded. There is some form of database that's powering this, which may be part of how Next.js works. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not really that familiar with it, but yeah, there is a little system there, and it sort of gives you all of the information about the podcast. So that is A Sense of Rebellion. What a cool website. Really fun, really detailed, lots in there, really rich. And if you're the kind of person who's got really good show notes or wants to have really good show notes, it's the kind of thing that allows people to really dive deep into something. It makes me think of a couple of my shows, one of my previous ones, which is all about the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. What a trick I missed. I had sort of decent show notes for each of the things we talked about, but there's so much more we could have done. And it kind of makes me think there's a lot more that we could do, actually. The podcast is finished, but there's so much more we could do, kind of as a service to people who are fans of the Hitchhiker's Guide, because we were the definitive podcast about it, and hopefully we will continue to be. But even for stuff I'm doing now, like anything where you want your listener or want your fan or your viewer to be able to dive more deeply into something, you can do them a great service by having a great podcast website. It's not just about being able to promote the show. It's not even about SEO. Not in the year of our Lord 2024. SEO is dead. It is really now just about, can you wow someone? Can you entice them in the way that we used to, like I said, build websites for films? Is there a way now that we can draw people in, especially if you're doing narrative work? But I think anything where you're doing maybe a little bit more than a standard interview, to be able to go just that little bit more. You don't have to go as balls to the wall, full out as this one. But if you do, man, you're going to impress some people, and you're going to impress me for what it's worth. So there you go. I hope I'll do some more of these. I have absolutely no idea. But if you've got any suggestions, you can follow me at Hello Stedman pretty much everywhere on the web, and let me know what podcast website I should talk about next.